It's us. It's Aggro and BaRRaCCuDDa here with the Backliners podcast.
As per usual.
As per usual, of course.
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
We missed a week because there was a little bit of downtime with Smite. And I feel like I forget what our whole show is about. I don't know anything that's going on. Do you have any...
I think it's about Smite.
Well, only the back, like, 60%. You know, the front 40% of the show is usually not about Smite, you know?
That's where we're going to get him today. We're going to go right into the Smite talk.
We are?
Yeah, we are. 100%. We're going to go right
BaRRa, I feel like you're managing me. I feel like you're doing this because you...
Oh, I wish I could. That'd be fun.
Yeah, all right. That's fine.
I feel like you'd be fun to manage.
Really? Ask Hinduman if he feels that way. Or Ajax. I think I would be fine to manage. I'm good, you know.
It depends on the day, I guess.
I'm gonna crack some jokes from time to time, but that's all that you're gonna get. Okay, yeah, let's get right into it. Shout out Mrs. Ma. She's gonna be happy with this episode. Big episode, because we've got to go over the 9.5 patch notes. Yeah, a lot. I'm like scrolling on the patch notes in order to find where I want to start, and it's hard to find where I want to start because there's so much.
Yeah, I can hear your middle finger breaking as you're scrolling through 14
Do you scroll
pages?
with your middle finger? I scroll with my index finger.
Oh, no, index finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Am I ever... I mean, I guess if I have to click at the same time as scrolling, but when do I have to click at the same time that I'm scrolling?
Wait, I do both. If I have to click, then yeah, it's middle. Okay, yeah, both ways feel normal to me. So.
No, middle finger feels really weird.
Sorry.
When do you have to click and scroll at the same time?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's the secret to being a Smite pro. You know, you just gotta do that. All right, I'm just control effing health. And that's what I'm doing. There are 62 instances of health.
Goodness.
Okay, this is for that. This is for that. Let's talk. Well, first of all, I did want to have a little spiel at the very beginning here.
Oh no, here we go.
Here we go. It's gonna happen. Hopefully, it happens less and less. The thing is that I understand that it has become much harder for me to give my opinion without a bunch of qualifiers on things like game balance with my new position. And trust me, I don't like having to qualify all of my opinions over and over again as much as you guys like hearing me having to qualify it. But I think it's kind of important for me to continue to do because my position now just has a lot of... It's very different from what it was before. And my words carry a different type of weight. And it's not if someone will eventually take exception to my opinion and, you know, post it on Reddit or on Twitter and say, you know, game dev is, you know, says this about Smite or the Smite fans and, you know, they don't value their opinion or whatever. It's not a matter of if that'll happen. It's a matter of when. And when that does happen, I would very much like to be able to say, well, you cut out the part where I said before that, you know, I understand this, this is my opinion, this does not reflect the whole dev team, you know, whatever. And I think it's just important and more fair to the other designers and the people on the balance team and that kind of stuff for me to continue to need to attach those types of qualifiers to my thoughts on update notes and that kind of stuff. So I apologize, but that's just the way it's got to be. You know, things change, chat. Things change. What's so funny, BaRRa? Huh?
The guy in chat said Aggro's back half of his head is looking real sexy.
I know. I moved my thing. Okay, here. I moved my I moved my monitor. Okay, wait.
Yeah, you were ranting for so long, and all we saw was...
Why haven't I just put my webcam here, dude? This is so much better. I had to move my monitor to make more room for my mic so that hopefully my mic sounds a little bit better. And I just realized I could just put it right in the dead center. Yeah, look at that. Okay, now we're cooking with gas.
Gorgeous.
Baby. Let's do it. Okay.
Do you watch Cracking the Cryptic real quick before Smite talk? Do you watch Cracking the Cryptic?
Do I watch what?
Okay, there's a YouTube channel of a guy, well, two guys that solve like Sudokus and puzzles and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was falling asleep to his videos like every night for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he like breaks open the Sudoku, he's like, "Oh, now we're cooking with gas." And I've
Mm.
never heard that outside of his YouTube videos, and then you
Mm.
just said it. So I was like,
I do not watch them. No, I've never heard of them.
okay.
It sounds interesting, but no, I
It's
used the term cooking with gas a lot while I was casting, for sure.
oh, I never heard it, so.
Yeah, you never listen to my casts. I get it. Unbelievable. What type of support is this? So terrible.
Oh yeah,
alright.
where
Go-
are we in the patch notes? You said health, but which
just search time to kill or time.
Okay.
You know that should do it because that's the biggest thing. That's where I want to start. This I said it on the patch notes show, but again, I could be a little bit more free in this situation for sure, even if I have to qualify everything I say. I think that this is the biggest change Smite has ever undergone. I think that it is going to change the game more than removing boots, more than rituals, more than getting a free relic at level 1 and being unable to get another one until level 12 because you used to be able to buy both relics as early as you wanted. I think that more than any map change, anything like that, this fundamentally changes the game of Smite more than any update ever has. Do you agree with that, or do you think another change has changed the game more?
I think it's pretty close. I mean, obviously you could say like the major years that the map has changed between like I think it was like season 1, season 2, and I want to say like between 3 and 4, maybe it was 4 and 5 there were big changes, but I think that this one definitely topples all of them just from playing on it. And it is a huge, huge difference. Like, you won't understand how big the change is until you play for the first few minutes on this new patch.
Yeah. And even then, I really think, obviously this is not the plan, but I really think that we could not touch the game for the rest of the year and the meta would not get actually solved for the rest of the year. Teams would do well. There would be things that look like they're the best thing to be doing. But the game has just changed so intensely that it would take pros months. We could maybe not touch it for a calendar year, and I don't think that a team would really solve it. But you know, that's part of the fun. Is that there are going to be constant changes, and that pros are going to have to try and keep up and adapt. Maybe real quick, I should, for any listeners or viewers who are not familiar with the changes, basically in 9.5, every single god in Smite is getting tankier. Every single god's base HP went up by 40%, and their base HP per level went up by 5%. Their base physical protection went up by 40%, and the protection for level by 8%, and then magical protection up by 28% and 28% per level because magical prots are weird and different. Basically what that means is at level 1, the squishiest gods in the game are going to be 145 healthier, and the tankiest gods will have an extra 209 HP. And at level 20, the squishiest gods will have an extra 200 HP, and the tankiest will have an extra 300. And again, that is before you factor in the extra protections as well. So the effective HP is even higher than that. This is alongside a suite of changes to minions to make them a little bit tankier, elongate the laning phase, all that kind of stuff. I think instead of
from
go ahead
scrimming on it, to touch on what you said earlier, from scrimming on it, no one knows what they're doing. Like,
it's
I don't
not
think
possible.
any team has really tried to, not like tried as in like we're like trolling in scrims, but like
Right.
no team has really like found a good foundation to build upon right now. I think everyone's kind of just picking not like random things, but it's a pretty, I wouldn't even call it meta. It's just like teams are just scrapping, trying to figure out what is actually good.
Yep.
And it's fun and frustrating at the same time, I think, because I felt like we were really good on like the previous patch.
Yeah.
And now it's like every team in the SPL got knocked down to the exact same foundation, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like, I don't think, like, because in my opinion, like, us and Dragons, in my opinion, were the top two. And I
That's
think
where you guys finished, so I would agree.
And I think everyone else is like, it's like absolutely crazy right now. Like the scrims just feel so weird. Sometimes productive, sometimes unproductive. Just based off of what different teams want to try out.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a mess right now, dude.
I cannot wait for Smite Masters, man. I cannot wait to see what everyone has come up with. A lot of questions in chat about the timing of Masters in relation to this patch. I think I know where you're going to be coming from on this, but from your perspective as a player, are you excited to be playing on the new patch, or would you have rather had the patch release and then you play on an old patch until after the event is over?
I mean, obviously, perfect world is the patch releases after Masters, since it's such a astronomically big change. But if I had, like, if there's no way to change the patch timing,
patch has got to come out
probably
when it comes out.
Yeah, probably prefer to play on the old one, just because I feel like we scrimmed on it for. I mean, I feel like Smite didn't change that much between, like, the patches of this year, and then this change, in my opinion, is bigger than the Season 8 to Season 9 change. And so it literally feels like everyone just got reset in the first, like, 5 months of the year, which is a little awkward. So I would have definitely preferred to play on the old patch, even though the patch is coming out. But yeah, it's crazy right now.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid opinion. I think especially when you look at it through the lens of a player whose job is to win and maximize their chance to win. I think that is a very understandable point of view. From my perspective as a fan and as a caster and now as a developer, I like that the tournament is going to be played on Masters. I would have been very concerned if we weren't able to get you guys a test server to be practicing on. You know, if it was just releasing on Tuesday,
100%.
and then you had a few days, and then it's just game on. Like, that would obviously be unacceptable. But you know, the pro players and SEC players are going to be competing, have been able to scrim for the last, like, 2 weeks, I'd say, right?
It's last Monday, I think.
Last Monday. Okay, so yeah, so about an extra, like, week or so gives you a full 2 weeks of prep time. I think that it's important to know. I don't think that anyone, if I were on the casting team before an event like this, we would be having, and I'm sure they are having, a narrative meeting to like understand, you know, how do we want to frame this event? What do we want the stakes to look like? You know, how is this impacting what we're going to talk about the rest of the year? And personally, I'd be very adamant that Masters is not this year. This year, Masters is not going to determine who is the best team in the league right now. I don't even think that you know, playoff events aren't always who's the best team or who is going to win Worlds. It's who's the best team right now. I don't think Masters even does that this year.
Yep.
I think Masters is who is the team that is able to break something the best, the fastest.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, it's a different type of thing, but I think that's really cool and interesting. And what I would be doing, like, let's say the Oni Warriors end up winning the event, right? They win Masters. But the rest of the year doesn't go super well for them, and they end up breaking up. Next year, when those rosters are forming, knowing that, you know, a guy like Neil or a guy like Nika, or maybe Dardez is playing some really weird stuff on the new patch, whoever the leaders are on that team, that's like, them being creative and open and quick to adapt to change is a skill set that I would be talking about for those players for a good amount of time after this event. So I think it's a really good way to showcase a new skill set that it isn't actually new. This is a skill set that has been developed and been important, and pro players really value for a long time. You know, the ability to understand a lot of changes and break it as fast as they can. But when it's this obvious, when it's this in your face, and it matters so much more than other skill sets do in comparison, normally, I think that makes for a really exciting event. That is going to be really fun. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely really stressful as a pro player because I feel like, I feel like it won't like really give anything away, but we like don't know what we're doing. Like,
if anyone told me they did know what they were doing, I'd think they were wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like most teams are like on our page of like a somewhat of an idea of what to do, or like. But it's not even like we're like under prepping or like disregarding this event. Like we're trying like really hard to understand what to do.
Right.
But it just feels so awkward, I guess. Like I don't know, it's so weird. It's so different than I guess previously for Smite, like to go through a change this massive like right before a tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really happened too often.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, if we just said that it's the biggest change ever, then probably not.
Well, yeah, I think it is, but I don't know how, you know, I don't remember exactly what the SPL schedule was like when mid-season of season 7 hit, when we removed, or 8 when we removed boots. When was that? Season 7, right? Like, I think
the middle of season 7.
Yeah, like I don't remember what the SPL schedule was like around that time. So I don't know what was going on then. I do think it's kind of weird for it to be
season 8.
Oh, was it season 8? Yeah, all the years are the same. But they all just run together. I can't keep them straight anymore. I do think it's weird to be like in the middle of a phase and then have a huge patch hit and change everything, and then be like, all right, totally new, because then your phase standings are also thrown into whack, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously I'm not saying there isn't an easy time to do it. I think that I understand the player point of view of some players not preferring to play on this patch, that they wish it would have been on the old one. I think a lot of player perspective is that they want the tournament of a phase to determine who the best team is in that meta. I think that that's like the way that players view it. I don't know that that view is shared widespread. And I just kind of view these middle of the season tournaments as checkpoints on the road to Worlds. And we're dropping in to see who the best team is right now. And it is not important to me who the best team is in the meta, because that's what the event that you guys got second in and the Dragons got first in was for. Like, you guys proved that you were the two best teams on that meta. We're good. Now it's a whole new show. And I
will
think that's
say,
fun.
I think if it was on the old patch, I still think Dragons would have probably just won this upcoming tournament. Because I think they had the like flex options so well put together for their team, and like picking and betting against them was really difficult, and I guess it was like 9.4. So I think that they probably would have just won unless we figured out how to like stop like I guess like Pagon's like picks in mid, because I think that was like their big opener against us. Most of the games was just him like doing whatever.
Right.
I don't know if you can or can't do that on the new patch, or how well it will work. I assume that they'll like still try to get that stuff to work, or like keep those flex options open. Yeah. I feel like I'm talking in circles a little bit, but it is really
hard.
weird.
You know, it's the week before a tournament. I get it. You know, you don't want to be giving away too much, and I definitely can sympathize with that. I do. You know, we did a lot of testing on this patch internally and that kind of stuff, and there are things that I think are strong. And I think that the big key for the team that ends up winning Masters is going to be that they save more money on their phone bill by switching to Mint Mobile. You know?
Really?
Yeah, I think that, like, instead of being ripped off by big wireless providers, knowing that they're getting premium wireless service for just $15 a month is going to be really, really good to free the mind a little bit. You know, their brains are going to expand. They're going to see picks they've never seen before, and then they can tell their coach, who might not be there, through a great wireless connection online, with no sort of interruption. And it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg, BaRRa. That's the thing.
Did you practice this on the week off? Because that was a really clean
No, you know,
segue.
I always try. I think I try and, like, I get up and I kind of ask a leading question, and I think that I came at it with a different tone this time.
You really did.
I kind of tried to
much more
sneak
relaxed.
it in there. Yeah, I tried to thread the needle a little bit more, and you know what? I think it's working for me.
You would really think that I would learn by now when it's coming, but I didn't. It actually caught me completely off guard.
Oh, we absolutely love it. Yeah. So again, to reiterate, for anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint, families start at 2 lines, so it's nice and easy. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Plus, you get to use your own phone number with any Mint Mobile plan, and keep your same phone along with all of your existing contacts. I know how to speak. Barry, you use Mint Mobile, so I think that you guys are already in a great spot because of how much you love to use Mint Mobile.
Yeah, I mean, it got us to second place, but I was really hoping, you know, that it would swing me into first. But I think I'm just powering up with how much money I'm saving each month. And I think by Worlds time, I'll save enough money to win Worlds, I think.
Okay.
Because if I'm already in second place by now, you know.
Right. It's
like,
going to compound.
Look, Renegades was like 6th place. Bolts last year, we were like, I don't remember where we were, but we'll just say lower than we are now. Now we're in second place with all the money I've saved each month. And Destiny's saving a lot as well. And
no way.
When you order online, it literally takes like 5 seconds to swap over. Like,
you've
not
got
even
5
trolling.
seconds.
Yeah, you've got 5 seconds, and you've also got $15 a month to spend on your wireless bill.
Yep.
So, swap over.
Swap over. All you got to do to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped straight to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/backliners. That's mintmobile.com/backliners. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/backliners. There you go.
Best way to support us and
right.
the Backliners and Prediction as well. Much, much, much appreciated, chat.
That's very true. Well said, Barry.
Thank you.
Yeah, on the topic of Backliners, I think that they obviously got stronger this patch. In particular, one of our 2 classes. Hint, it's yours.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Hunters are pretty unanimously the best class right now in the game. I think they feel really, 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 really good. I think mages... I personally don't think they are very strong right now, but I do think that when they get to 6 items, they feel okay, but I don't think they pressure the lane enough to warrant how much weaker they are in the late game than Hunters. I think that the early mid games are pretty comparable between the 2 classes, and then Hunters are just better at killing basically everybody in the late game, including their ability to kill towers and Fire Giant and all that kind of stuff. Would you agree? Obviously, again, with the knowledge that you've got a tournament coming up, I'm sure you don't want to give too much away, but I don't think
I already said we don't know what we're doing. It's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Hunters are ridiculously broken, in my opinion, right now. And I use broken in the... I think they're actually broken. Like, actually OP.
Is this the best Hunters have ever been, you think?
I don't know. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
I remember in like season 1 or season 0, you could crit for like 1k, and that was cool.
And you had a 90-second sprint cooldown?
Yeah, that was.
Or was it 30?
Yeah.
Was it 30 seconds back then on upgrade?
No, it was 30. 30 would be crazy.
I'm looking
But
it
you
up.
might be. I want to say it was 60 seconds.
Maybe it was 60. Maybe we're splitting the difference here. I'll look it up. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, Hunter is really strong. I personally think mages were really strong as well. I don't know if there is a specific like mage tier list right now. I don't think we're in a meta where I'll say like the Tiamat meta, where Tiamat was just absolutely busted OP and you had to pick or ban her or you just like lost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're in that kind of meta for mages. I think their job is a little bit different currently. I'm not sure like how good or bad they are. I think the biggest thing is just the red buff, and that thing is a mini boss for mid laners.
Yeah.
Is like trying to kill that thing as a mage, it literally like half HPs you.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people like. I'll be honest, like scrimming on the patch, I hated it. Like when I first started scrimming on the patch, I was literally losing my gourd because like
You didn't have a gourd
okay,
anymore?
I lost it. My gourd was gone.
Oh,
And
no.
I will say I am beginning to understand and possibly maybe like it a little bit. I won't even lie to you, chat. I've been blowing up Aggro's DMs
He has.
with frustrations, and I will not. I was very frustrated.
He has.
And there are certain scrims that still get me that frustrated. But I think that we and other teams are figuring out what to do about those pesky buff holders that just are extremely tanky. Yeah, it takes like 15 auto attacks to kill your 2-minute purple, and that's a lot of time. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. I'm really like sitting there chopping down a tree for like 15 seconds.
Write that down. They're playing Sylvanas. Write that down. That's intel for the Masters LAN. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true, Deathwalker. But, that's fair. He said, this is the best patch Smite's ever had, and I'll die on that hill, and I'm playing solely. I don't know if that's true. I mean, not to, like, poop on aggro right here. I mean, yeah. I might like it a little bit by the end of this week. A little bit more. It's definitely...
Yep.
Taken a big mental hit and a lot of frustration to work through all the changes. And I think mid laners and solo laners are feeling it the most with what they have to do. And yeah, it's quite the doozy. It's quite the doozy.
Yeah, I mean, the game is just so different. I will say... This is... I was going to get into this in a minute, but I think that the thing that really encourages me, and again, before I go on my spiel, this is my opinion, doesn't reflect that of the dev team, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The thing that...
like a soundbite.
I know, bro. We really do need it. Oh my god, I have a soundbite that we didn't play before.
One.
Oh my god, bro.
It was actually so good.
It's
we got a
so
DM from a
good.
guy,
I know.
sick.
An amazing fan of the show did send us a little jingle to intro when the Smite talk would begin, and I forgot to play it because we started the Smite talk so early. I will play it next week.
I caught you off guard.
That's okay. That's okay. I didn't have it ready, to be honest. I will remember next week. I will put it in right after the show. It is unbelievable. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. It is so funny. The thing that encourages me, and the reason that I think the game has changed so drastically, is that I think the fundamental rock, paper, scissors of Smite has changed or can change as a result of this change. Historically, what I mean by rock, paper, scissors dynamic is that assassins are supposed to be killing backliners. Guardians are supposed, like tanks are supposed to beat assassins because they make their job harder. Hunters are supposed to kill the tanks, and mages are supposed to kill the hunters over the wall with long range damage and big damage late game. That is the general, very loose, obviously not in every situation type of rock, paper, scissors that many, many MOBAs, including Smite, exist on that general principle. But I think the reality of how it's worked for a long time is that frontliners, namely warriors, have built and played to kill hunters because they are so important to the late game. And I think that the thing that makes me think that the most is when you think about how all of the metas where warriors are really OP, what are they building? They're building Thorns, they're building Nemean, they're building Glad Shield and doing a lot of damage and being really tanky. Those are the items that have consistently been nerfed from these classes, and it's because they become too good at that job in particular. And now, because when left on an island, they have always been able to solo kill the hunter. Unless the hunter is super fed or the warrior is super far behind or it's hyper late game. That has been a lot of what teamfight has been predicated on at a high level, is that the ADC is going to get run down by a warrior and an assassin, and the mage and the guardian are trying to win the 3v2 with the hunter in order to prevent that from happening. Now, I think the hunter just is under no threat from a tank warrior anymore. You don't, if they're alone, I don't think you have to respect their CC, or you don't have to respect their damage nearly as much as you did before. And so that aspect, you're giving me a face, BaRRa. Do you disagree?
Wait, I agree with what you said, but I think that's the warrior's job, in my opinion.
It has been the warrior's job, and the warrior can still do that job, but it's got to be in a different way, which is kind of like where I was going. Like before, they could build full tank and actually solo you, or actually force your like Aegis by themselves. And that allows you to be easy cleanup for another class. Now I don't think they put that type of pressure on your life bar or on your Aegis in particular. And it allows the hunter to play a lot more greedy and a lot more aggressive. And as a hunter in playtesting, it has felt really, really good to not need to be threatened by a full tank warrior. But I think that's what's created this feeling that I agree with of hunters being so strong, is that their natural predator is no longer good at what they did. But what's very encouraging to me, which I kind of got sidetracked, what's very encouraging to me is that we have taken that threat away from tanks in a meaningful way. And when playing tanks and when talking to tank players, I know there's going to be exceptions and people who don't agree and all that kind of stuff. But largely, I don't think they feel useless in the team fighting stage. Even when taking away a lot of their effective kill potential, there is a ton of tweaking that we need to do. I mean, good Lord, the amount of work that we have in front of us is daunting a little bit, but in a very exciting way. But the fact that we've been able to take that threat out of their hands and not immediately feel like they are completely worthless is really exciting. And I think that was the hardest goal to hit. And I think that we are fairly close to a point where we can fix there's going to be outliers and other stuff that we can fix much easier than tackling this very, very difficult problem that I don't think we got perfect, but I think we're at a position that we are close, and that is what I find most exciting about it.
Yeah, I know a lot of tank players are really frustrated with the current ecosystem, I guess, of team fights and overall like warriors in general. I think that class is just kind of, on life support right now.
They're hurting a bit. I agree.
I think it's because you talked about them getting nerfed over and over and over again on like all of their hybrid items for a while.
Yep.
And now it's like you're a warrior and you get to your lane and now you can't like clear minions either. So it's it's like why pick a warrior if I can't like do anything late game, and on top of that I can't like control the early game either.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that class has just been like absolutely butchered.
They are not in a great spot
Um,
overall. I would agree.
yeah, as I mean, I feel like I'm not giving anything away. I
Well,
feel like
they
most
are
solo laners feel
especially
that way.
not good at doing what they have done historically. Um, but that's where I think my opinion of the game has changed so fundamentally is that
Hmm.
I just wonder, and it's really up to, we could have playtested this patch for 2 years internally, and we wouldn't have gotten it perfect by any means. And we would have still needed to make a million changes. And so I think that there is value in just letting the player base go buck wild. And then
Hmm.
because the sample, the data that we get and the sample size is just so much better. But I wonder if the game can develop in a way that warriors aren't just able, like, can they be successful in a way and feel good to play and play against when they can't solo a 5 item hunter by themselves? Or do they need to do that? Is that a necessity? And if that proves to be a necessity, then we can go from there. But I just think that we are questioning that dynamic of the team fight in a way that has really never been questioned before. And that's what really interests me.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to have. I feel like that scale of solo laners soloing a hunter is so like on the fence because I feel like even last patch, I feel like sometimes I would either do like insane damage to a solo laner or they would like I think it was the RDO games where they would go like Celestial and another Fizzy item,
Right.
and it was in the Crusher Aussie meta of hunters, and I would auto them for like 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's obviously not fun, but then there's like hopefully my mage can do damage to them at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But currently I think it's very unhealthy for Smite when hunters are this strong.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, because I think this will leak into the ranked system of people just picking hunters literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I remember I think it was like when Deathbringer was super OP
Yeah.
and people played hunters in like every role,
Right.
basically just for fun. Um, I just think it kind of like breaks the fundamentals of Smite. I don't think Warriors should straight up like be able to solo me, but I think that they should like the fight should be close, in my
Mm.
opinion, depending on who's ahead or who's behind. I think the fight should be close. But now it kind of just feels like, I mean, I guess like nature talk. Like
Hmm.
it's like hunters were the deer before, being hunted, and now we took away like our predator,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's just deer everywhere.
Yeah, it's overpopulation for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's hard just because I don't know, just so many knobs were turned in this patch
Yeah.
that I think if you guys got it perfect, it'd be by luck. And
It's impossible for us to get it perfect.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Like
impossible.
when this many things about Smite are being changed, it's impossible to get it like 100% accurate. But I think it's an exciting direction for Smite to go in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously it's going to be pretty like awkward at this Masters land,
Yeah.
but I have full, I mean, not like awkward, but just a completely different meta, a completely different style of Smite. But I think I have a lot of faith in you guys to, I guess, fix the problems that you see.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, you said it earlier is like very exciting to like fight those challenges or face those challenges.
It's so fun.
Um,
That's what I find very fun about game design is that it's just all one big puzzle that we got to try and like figure out as best we can, knowing that we'll never actually finish it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. I do want to ask you. I wonder if we should just have an episode that's like me asking game design focused questions to like try and show how I think about things. That might be an interesting premise for a show in the future, but this is like kind of an example of what I mean. You said that warriors shouldn't be able to solo you, but it should be close. Mm-hmm. The question is, how close is, like, what is that number that feels right?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And it's not.
Exactly.
I'm not asking you to name. I should live at 250 HP. All that.
Well, that's
kind
why I
of stuff.
said like it's so on the fence,
Right?
Because as you said earlier, if they build to beat the hunter, they'll always beat the hunter.
Sure.
But that's why you have a mage behind you that should be following up and should be like helping you. I mean, especially in like ranked and casuals, you're hoping that your teammates will help you.
Yeah. Do you think like the average casual player feels like that is an acceptable thing? And I truly do not mean this to sound like a loaded question. I really, because these are the things that I think about on a daily basis. Is I agree with what you're saying. If they build 5 items dedicated to beating me in the 1v1, then they've earned it. But I'm relying on my teammate to pick up the slack and beat them for me. But in a casual game where you're not in comms and you probably don't know who your mid laner is and you can't necessarily trust them to do the right thing, I don't know that the average player feels like, oh well, I don't think that medicine that makes the medicine go down any easier. You know what I mean? It doesn't. They built 5 items to beat me. It's stupid. I'm a 6-item hunter. I should be able to kill them. I wonder how the average player feels about that type of investment.
I think that's a fair point to bring up. I think right now the reason Hunter feels so strong is because I feel like there's no items that you can really build on this current patch that will stop Hunters. I mean, obviously, like, you can go Horrific, you can go Midgardian, you can go Witchblade, and you can just like hold W at us. You can also buy Spectral. But I feel like they're not nearly as effective as they used to be. I mean, obviously, they still help mitigate Hunters.
Yeah, that's another point, though. Is it just that the hybrid items got nerfed and Hunters have more health? Because Hunter DPS has not increased, right? Hunter's got no buffs. Chin's gets marginally better, but not better than the buffs that Warriors and Guardians got in terms of effective HP from their HP pool and their physical protection per level. But what do you think has led to this? Is it just that Hunters aren't under threat via damage from these classes?
Yeah, you're not really under threat unless you're misplaying. I mean, I can't really like give away like scrim picks that I've like died to, unfortunately.
Right.
Wish I could, listeners, but unfortunately I can't. You're not really under threat to a lot of picks. Also, it's a Devos meta, which in my opinion, Devos metas have always been really good for Hunters because, I mean, a lot of lifesteal, a lot of power on one item. Just feels really good on your curve after you get that and then you start curving outward. If it was a Crusher Aussie meta right now, it would feel way worse when you're hitting warriors and tanks. But because we're not under any threat like in the early mid game most of the time, we're able to get our Devo stacks for free. Whereas previous metas we'd be getting ganked and dying. We're able to get our second item, whether it's Kins, Wind Demon, if you want to go silver, whatever, you can build that. And then you're like already building crit on your second item, which feels really good, obviously. And then Spectral, in my opinion, is kind of a dead item right now. I don't think it's really good at all. So that's not really, like, building crit second doesn't feel bad. Like, it doesn't feel bad at all. And it just feels like everything is perfect for the, like, Devo's crit build right now. And then also, since we don't have boots anymore, we can just fit Kins in there so much easier. And like, I don't know, it's just being a hunter just feels really, really, really strong sometimes. And you can literally just kill everyone if the team fight goes your way.
Right.
But I think for your point, I think it's just a giant collection of things. I don't think the buffs to warriors and tanks for their effective HP did nearly anything close to what it did for hunters and mages. Because I feel like
Maybe in the
warriors
late
and
game, but
guardians,
surely in the early game it does more, right? For them because it's percentage based,
yeah,
not flat.
but you're not fighting them in the early mid game.
Not in a 5v5, no, but
Yeah,
little
so
skirmishes and
like
stuff.
the chances of me seeing like a warrior in the early mid game,
Right.
I mean,
well,
it's non-existent, right?
right. Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. No chance. No chance. No chance.
But yeah, hitting a tank or hitting like a guardian feels basically the same. My webcam's going super fuzzy right now. Sorry.
Barry, you got to do the hand trick. Just put your hand up to the webcam real close. I'm serious.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
did that earlier and
Yeah,
it didn't fix it.
And now bring it back. And we're in business. Thank you very much. That's how it works.
Okay, why does it work for you, but I did that on stream like 8 times? Okay, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, to finish off for your point, it's just a giant collection of things. Crit being really strong right now obviously feels really good for hunters. When you can have a lifesteal item as effective as Devos while building crit, that feels really good. Because obviously you're under basically no threat because you use lifesteal through any damage anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of knobs that you guys can turn to make hunters worse. I mean, you can hit Devos, you can hit crit, you can hit kins. I mean, honestly, I think most of the items that ADCs are building right now are extremely strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think our starters are really strong. Devos is really strong. Kins is really strong. Silver's strong. Crit's like literally every item feels insane. And yeah,
Yep.
like normally before I would feel like slightly weak. Like, okay, if I'm going Devos, they're gonna go Crusher or whatever, or like they could go like a Blood Forge and they're gonna pressure me a little bit. Now it's like I'm not under any pressure for a long time.
Right.
Which, and as you said, it's like the hunters or like people that were hunting the hunters don't exist anymore. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that contributes to it. Another thing that I saw, obviously with the discussion of hunters and all that kind of stuff, it's that crit is too good, that spectral isn't doing enough, all this kind of stuff. And I do wonder, this is, again, my own personal curiosity, not reflective of anything that we could do or are planning on doing. I find it really interesting that in a game like League of Legends, every hunter item in their game has crit. Every single one. That is just what they do. And they have one anti-crit defense item that I can think of that is not as good as Spectral at defending against those crits. In the majority of situations. Sometimes it's better. It basically is like an active item that in an aura around you like reduces their attack damage and crit damage for a short period of time. But you have to be very close. Why do you... is it just because for the history of Smite, there have been a crit build path and a non-crit build path that have been viable at different times? Why do you think that the topic of crit and it being good is like almost separate, I think, than when hunters are good? Like it's a different frustration factor when crit is good versus when hunters are good. And I wonder, I like just in this discussion, I've kind of been thinking like, I wonder why that is when in a lot of MOBAs, I'm not familiar how it works with in Dota or anything like that, but in League, a very popular one, hunters just crit and they just kill you. And remind you in that game, they don't have to aim. They click on you and they kill you in like 3 autos late game, but they have more damage than us always have. Never talking that again. Why do you think crit gets its own frustration in Smite? Is it the two separate build paths, you think?
I'm honestly not sure. I think it's really frustrating to play against crit in Smite because I think being like being like third person makes it worse because you can just kind of feel how useless you are. Like if a Jingwei is like 1-3ing with her 2 procced and she just dashes in, you kind of know you're about to be dead in like 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, and I'm way too inexperienced with in League or like other MOBAs to discuss like their fundamentals or why things work for their game and don't work for ours. But I think a lot of times when hunters are really strong in Smite, it's either through sustain in the early game with Death Toll being very strong, or it's the crit late game. I feel like people don't have too much issue with the yellow damage builds most of the time. I could be wrong about that.
No, I agree. I think that most people are less frustrated with hunters when it's not a crit meta, it's a chins meta. But then everyone also goes, I miss when crit was good. It was more cool. It was more cool and fun. And then crit's good, and they're like, crit is so dumb, man. I hate it.
Well, I think it's just like multiple people complaining about different things in those instances. Or people are always, the grass is always greener kind of people.
Well, that's a huge part of it. I don't think that's debatable.
Yeah, and people are just like, oh, I miss season 3 meta. That meta was so perfect and so good. Like, but they don't remember any of the bad things about the meta or like previous like iterations, or like, I miss old Doom Orb. I want to stack Doom. Like,
yeah,
bro, like
good.
You die once and then your other mid laner has 50 stacks and you come back with like 25.
Yeah.
And or 0. I don't remember if it fully reset back then. And then your game's over. Like, you can't fight them for the next like 8 waves. Like that's, and people just, I don't know, they just kind of forget a lot of things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, on this patch, I think hunters, I mean, obviously we talked about it, but I think they're way overtuned.
Sure.
But maybe it's not even hunters being overtuned. Maybe it's just the defense items are just so bad right now that's why hunters feel so strong, is because defense has been gutted several patches in a row. While on this patch, basically they got nerfed again, I think. And then they just got a little bit more HP.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I could very easily be wrong. But my personal opinion is that it's not that tanks suck. They, warriors and being able to unclear and solo lane, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that they're in a great spot. I think a lot of them need a lot of help. I think the warrior class needs to understand, we need to dial in the warrior class identity and what we want them to do, is my personal opinion. But someone in chat said something that I was going to address anyways, but I think it leads nicely into my point. When I was talking about the rock, paper, scissors dynamic earlier, and how what it's typically is in MOBAs and what it typically is in Smite, and it's a big misconception, I think, for players who are starting to get better, is that as you got better, the dynamic did change. That, like I said, hunters are in the typical rock, paper, scissors in a MOBA. Hunters kill tanks. But in Smite, at a high level, your job was to build and play gods that killed the hunters as tanks. Now that that isn't an option, I'm not saying that we have removed that. I'm saying that it is more like I'm curious on whether or not the actual natural predator of hunters, that being full damage assassins, can actually do that job in a way that they haven't had to before. And I personally think that if we can get the game in a state where tanks are hard to kill, but not impossible, able to soak cooldowns and bring utility and some degree of crowd control, but not be able to full solo a hunter when they're both at 6 items, that is what I personally think is most fun. Is that what's best for the game? I don't know. I think that our players and how everyone feels about this patch and future patches and all that kind of stuff, that will all dictate what changes we actually decide to make and what I think we should actually do. But if it's just aggro's version of Smite, if the warriors can't solo kill the mages or the hunters at 6 items when everyone's full build, if the warriors can't do that by themselves, but the assassins are actually capable of winning DPS races against these classes in a pure 1v1, but being unable to do that against the tanks, then that seems like the right dynamic to me. And so I wonder if hunters, if instead of buffing warrior damage in PvP, you know, maybe we can we find a way to buff them in PvE, make them be able to clear the wave a little bit better, but still not give them all that strength back in order to kill backliners by themselves in PvP? Can we instead actually promote the class that is supposed to be killing these backliners to be able to do that without also making them be able to too easily kill the tanks? I wonder if that if there's a place that we can find ourselves in that type of thought.
Yeah, that's why you're a designer and I'm a pro player. Because I got a bit lost when you were talking.
Yeah, sorry. I said a lot of like letters and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's like I feel like a MOBA is pretty impossible to balance personally and make it feel good for everyone at all different levels.
It's
I
very
think that's virtually impossible. I mean, obviously, like it can feel like okay or like all right across the board, but I feel like having a meta where literally everyone at every level of play, like casual to pro player. I mean, it's like I guess like Umoja, Hades, and like gods like Opwash and Zeus, like those types of characters and those types of kits will never feel the same across all levels of play. Same with like Ares too, before people learning how like what beads does.
Dude, when I started playing, I had no idea you could beads Ares ult, and I thought that character was so broken. I was like, this is so OP. I couldn't stand it.
There's so many knobs that you can turn. That's just my new thing that I just say on cooldown now. There's so many knobs that you can turn at all levels of play. Like, I have no idea what it's like to play as, like, a silver or gold, plat, like, anything like that. I have no idea what it's like. I have no idea what they experience.
Right.
I have no idea how they, like, farm, like, when they want to press actives, when they want to rotate.
Right.
What even feels good, like,
if they
or
buy
what
actives.
feels bad. Yeah, if they buy actives, do they upgrade actives?
Yep.
So I personally have no idea. Like, I did, we had a friend stay with us for a few months, and we were teaching her Smite, and I was so taken back, I guess, when I had to teach someone Smite.
It's hard.
Because there's so many different levels of, like, oh, you need to be doing this, so you can do 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 this. Like, it's all like a building block, and I don't know. I feel like it's pretty impossible for everyone to be happy at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, but it's not about everyone. You know, it's not about the game being perfect. It's about making it as good as we can. You know, striving for perfection is a noble cause, I guess. But you know, long ago, I gave up trying to find a way to make Smite perfect. It's just not. It's just not possible. You know, too many players, too many different factors, all that kind of stuff. But it is really hard. It's funny you mentioned that. Like I got asked to try and like teach a mutual friend how to play Smite, and I kind of found the same. That I found like my job was literally to explain what was happening in a game. I did that for 5 years, and I felt so worthless trying to teach this poor person Smite. And it's really like, I think when you just reach a level like this, I mean, surely there are people who could play as well or better than me and then actually do a good job at teaching these people how to play Smite from a zero understanding level. But for me, I have a really hard time not overwhelming with information and like, you know,
because
like,
you don't know
you're just thinking so much. Like it's just how it is, you know.
You don't know what information's gonna stick, and like also like when you try to give out builds, you have no idea like what build to give them. Because like I was just like, oh, play Izanami, build like Devos, and just build crit and just hold W at people. Yeah. Like, well, she was playing on a controller. I was like, just like walk into them, because like you have the highest chance to hit more auto attacks with Izanami, and you can just like slice through people, and it was literally like she was playing as bots.
Yeah.
Like, well, people, like real people, but they literally were just bots. Like
Yeah.
they would just walk into auto attacks, just get
Yeah.
crit for like 400 and then just die. And then she turned to another guy, auto attack him down. He just dies like in like a few hits. And I don't know. It's so, I don't know. I can't even imagine what it'd be like if I had to teach myself Smite like 9 years ago or like 10 years ago. I don't even know what I would say to myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's hard. The game's hard, and it's hard to do the right stuff all the time because there's just a million factors. That's just the way it is.
I do think, obviously, I think Warriors will get buffed in the future patches, and I think Warriors will kind of get their. I don't want their job like too redefined. Because I think that is a fun, I guess, like seesaw or effect of like boxing like a pro like warrior player late game is so much fun, or like waiting for like if it's like a big like a colon blink ult, like you're always waiting for that moment. And I feel like when hunters I mean, I think it's more warriors are so weak, or like frontliners are so weak that the ecosystem's weird now. But I feel like we won't get to see that many of those style of plays in Masters from like tanks. I mean, obviously tanks will still be able to make like a few plays here and there, but I think the big solo players will just be playing different things, which might again be just as exciting as before. But I guess like maybe I'm like old-fashioned or something.
Right. No, I mean, there's something to be said for I'll play the game this way for years, and I want to keep playing it that way. I think that's a very valid feeling. And if that's what our players want, then we'll do our best to make it that way.
Well, I guess we're not even going to like go over patch notes.
No. I think that we have like that was the only way I thought to approach this type of patch was to be very zoomed out. I mean, are there any zoomed in like micro changes you want to talk about more than the broad stuff?
The Circuit cleave auto attack is pretty interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because that helps her in support and jungle a bit.
It does help her a little bit in support, but I think it is definitely more valuable in jungle. You know, just because the one is really the only ability that clears camps super well. So having her be able to clear those camps a little bit better helps. You know, she definitely, as AJ said on patch notes, she actually went down the most in win rate from the DR changes. She was hurt the most by it. But it, you know, we'll see how she is. The tank, you know, she has percent HP damage, not as much as she used to, but still does have percent HP damage. And, you know, I wonder if she gets better with this change and is able to be a little bit more in the fight, or if she still gets one-tapped, you know, who knows?
And sometimes the trebuchets I found get a lot of value, and sometimes they do absolutely nothing. Teams are like figuring out when to send them, like if they just want to hold all of them, or if they want to like send them once they get it. So that's exciting. And then also for anyone out there who has tried to end a game, it's hard.
Yeah, you better be smart about how many Phoenix shots you're tanking, or tower shots you're tanking.
Yeah, well, I was talking about like literally like fighting the Titan. Like that thing is a beast. He is a tanky boy now.
That's what everyone asked for, right? They wanted the Titan to be a real thing. They wanted it to be a real objective. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, everyone is, you know, you got to put a little star there, but sure.
It was a very popular suggestion, I'll say that. It was a very popular suggestion for the Titan to be harder to kill.
Yeah. That man is hard to kill now. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but just all the buff camps across the board, once you guys, if you didn't play on PTS, when it comes out tomorrow, hopefully it's up all day.
Last thing, Barry.
Yes,
Are you pumped to play the closed beta Conquest map again?
Oh, yeah. Wait,
Dude,
is that out? Or
it'll
like...
be out for the first Smite night, which is, let me just make sure I get the right, here we go. The first day of it will be, does it not have the date on here? On Saturdays. I don't think it's the first Saturday after the patch goes live. I want to say it's Saturday the 28th. Is when I think it will happen. That'll be the first day that you can play the closed beta conquest. You cannot play it before that, and then it will be available it's only available to queue for 24 hours on that Saturday. That's how Smite Nights are always going to work. It's going to be limited time modes with leaderboards and rewards, but it's only up for a 24-hour period. Yep, it's dope. I think it's going to be really fun.
Wait, when was this a thing?
This is the first thing. It's on the 21st, Isaiah says. Oh, okay, so it is the first Saturday. Thanks, Isaiah. You the goat.
Wait, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, so on Saturday the 21st, you have 24 hours to queue for closed beta conquest. There's a leaderboard, there are rewards, all that kind of stuff. Then it's closed. You can't queue for it anymore. But you can still play on the closed beta map in customs after that. But if you want to queue it up and do matchmaking, you gotta play on Smite Night.
Wait, you said like Smite Night's gonna be like a regular thing now?
Yep, we're gonna have different events and different
stuff
going on Smite Night. We already confirmed that one of the Smite Nights is gonna be 5v5 conquest. You can only queue with all 5 people, so you get to have a leaderboard for just playing 5v5 conquest with your friends.
Bro, this is actually disgustingly cool. I'm not even, like, this is, I had no idea this was a thing. This is sick.
Yeah, Smite Night's a thing we've been working on in the background for a little bit. I know a ton of work's gone into it. I think it's super cool.
This is so cool. I'm genuinely giddy about this. This is actually so cool.
Great reason. I mean, this is money streaming opportunity for you, Barry. I mean, streaming on Smite Night and playing the modes and that kind of stuff, that's going to be easy cash.
Yeah, any chance we move SPL off of the weekend?
Off of Smite Night? Hey, bro, I'm not the one to talk to about that. You know, you gotta talk to them.
Sorry, I can't show up to SPL today. I gotta win my Smite Night.
Gotta win my Smite Night, baby. The first Smite Night will be Saturday the 21st. Saturday the 21st. So this Saturday, I believe. Yep, this Saturday.
Like at midnight and goes to midnight, or
that
starts at like noon?
I do not know. That one I do not know.
I would assume like noon to noon or something, because it says Smite Night. So if it started at like Saturday at like, I don't know, like 12 or like 12 midnight, I feel like that'd be a little weird.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when it starts. It might have to, you know, time zones and all that nonsense, but it's gonna be really cool. I have had so much fun testing the closed beta conquest map. This map is so unbalanced. It is absolutely insane.
What are you talking about, dude? It's so perfectly balanced.
Really? The fact that minion like golden XP like barely scales at all, and it takes so if you fall behind, you will have no fun. You will have no fun. Let me tell you that right now. But when you're ahead, it feels real good.
5 a.m. to 5 a.m. perfect. That's what I was hoping. I was gonna say like 3 or 4 a.m., but that's perfect. 5 a.m. to 5 a.m.
There you go.
Is perfect. I was thinking like it's called Smite Night. You know,
right?
Like, if it turns off at like midnight between like Saturday and Sunday, that'd be a little weird.
That's not gonna be working.
5 a.m. to 5 a.m. is literally perfect. You can stay up all night with your boys.
I might actually be like, maybe I should just like stream closed beta conquest all day Saturday.
No, this is actually like okay. I don't want to be one of those guys, but this is like one of the best ideas the community,
it's a great idea,
like people have ever done, literally ever. Like I am genuinely in love with this idea.
It's a great idea.
It's actually so much fun.
Agreed. I'm super excited about it. Here's my hint to all of you out there. Whenever you play the closed beta conquest map, if you've never played it before, which I'm sure is very many of you, it's a 2-1-2 meta. I don't think you can jungle really, because there's no XP camps. All of the camps are just buff camps, and they're on very long cooldowns, so you won't get enough farm. The strat, do not play a mage in mid. That is a trap. play a shove and roam assassin or warrior.
That's
what you
be a
want to be
role
playing.
player, chat. Only play the characters that were out in 2012.
We did do that. It was fun. But then also getting to play Giannis on this map or Kleina on this map.
True.
Is so much fun, dude. It's so fun. The games are just so not balanced. Like, they were all blowouts in a really fun way. Fire Giant, like, pit is so terrifying.
Fire Giant Pit's awesome, dude. You go in that thing and you know
the
that's
whole
a boss
thing
battle.
the whole thing fills up with lava. Bro, that knockup is unavoidable on God. Like, you were like, I got chain knocked up like 3 times in a row one time, and I was like, what is happening? I was so scared. The first time, Gold Fury has like no leash radius, basically. So I was like taking too much damage. I started running away, and this freaking thing was chasing me through the jungle. Like, it was so troll. It was so fun, man. I mean, do I think it's like better Smite overall? Not even close. Is it so fun to go back and play? Absolutely. I looked forward to every single closed beta test. It was an absolute blast. I can't wait for everyone who hasn't played it, which is such a large portion of our player base, to play it again. It brought back a lot of nostalgia, Barry. It was feeling good.
I'm very excited for it.
Yep, Smite Night, May 21st. Mark your calendars. Queue up, get on the leaderboard, all that kind of stuff.
Wait, so Masters is starting this week, right? It's on like Thursday this week?
Correct. It starts this week and then goes into next week. But because you got a top 2 seed, Barry, you do not need to play in this first week. Isn't that right?
That's me. Yep, that's me.
And so you have earned the right to play Smite Night all you want on the 21st.
True, but not ruin my sleep schedule.
But not ruin your sleep. You got a week to fix it afterwards, man.
No, that's... I've hit an age. Andy and Aqua came over one night, and I don't even know what time they left, but I want to say I was up to like 1 or 2 in the morning, which is, I know, pretty okay. It's pretty crazy for me.
I thought you were going to say they didn't leave until like 6 a.m.
No, I'm on like the 7 a.m., 8 a.m. wake up schedule right now, so that's a pretty big shift, and it took me a week and a half to fix it. Like, my body just
from 1 a.m. or something.
yeah, literally one night of staying up late. It took me a week and a half to like for my body to like readjust.
Just wake up a little early then on Saturday morning. It's starting at 5. You can wake up a little bit early and play then.
Play for 24 hours straight?
No, don't play for 24 hours. But instead of staying
up
late,
the first one, dude.
Well, then you better. Yeah, then it sounds like you are staying up for 24 hours straight.
Wait, is it okay? That's never mind. Dumb question. Not even gonna ask.
Understood. All right, random question of the week. This week is brought to you by Manic Scruffy, who DM'd me on Twitter. Thanks, Manic, for submitting a random question of the week, so I didn't need to think about it. You are always welcome, listeners and chatters, to DM me on Twitter. Random question of the week. What is the best toast topping?
Oh goodness. Am I sick?
Give me both options, I guess. Give me the non-sick and the sick.
Okay. So I probably talked about this before, but growing up, whenever I was sick, my mom would make buttered cinnamon sugar toast, and every time I ate it,
yes, Barry, you're red hot, baby. You've been on it recently. A good opinion. Let's go.
Thank you. Like anywhere between slightly toasted to actually toasted is perfect for me. Like if the butter is still like a little cold when you bite into it, but the bread's like hot and it's like slightly melted, it's literally perfect. I'm
proud of you right now, Barra. This is really good work for you. The level of detail that you just gave me on... And then you've got a top 3 on top of that? You're willing to go in depth on the temperature of the butter versus that of the bread? And then you still have 2 more opinions? That's how you know that we've been doing this podcast for a long time. This is very me-like, and I'm very happy to hear it. Please keep going.
Okay, so second option is probably just a little... I mean, I am a millennial. So a little guac-y toast kind of goes hard. You throw either some guac on there or some avocado on there. Either one's fine. Obviously, it should be a little mushy, or you should like squish it together. You can kind of throw anything in there, and then you throw the everything bagel seasoning on there, with a nicely toasted piece of bread. You know, should probably be a little sourdough. I don't think wheat's that great with guac. Me and Destiny call it guac toast. We're just degenerates. And then obviously, I gotta shout out peanut butter. Obviously, I don't really have like toasted peanut butter, but anytime I think of bread, I think of peanut butter. And lately, I've been going crunchy peanut butter in my sandwiches because
Good call.
I don't know why. I just like the texture when I bite into it.
No, it's way better.
I'm not a big jelly fan. I'm
either.
sorry.
Don't need it.
Just not.
Nope.
I like jelly in biscuits is delicious, but jelly with peanut butter for some reason, it just takes my mouth in too many different directions, and I just like to go in one direction.
Yep. I agree. Here's the best way to make a peanut butter sandwich, okay? You get 2 pieces of bread, crunchy, copious amount of peanut butter, of crunchy peanut butter on both sides. Then you put them together, and then you squish it so much that the pieces of peanut in the crunchy peanut butter are like it textures the bread this way, right? And you can like see where the pieces of peanut are, so it's you press it that thin. That is the ideal peanut butter sandwich. No jelly, no nothing else. That's all you need. It's delicious. But great opinions, Barry, all across the board.
Thank you.
That's really great work from you.
Good question.
This was a good question from Manic. Yeah, I think I'm with you. You kind of stole my thunder. My personal favorite is butter and cinnamon sugar. It's so good. It's absolutely delicious. I feel like I could eat a whole loaf of bread if I'm just putting butter and cinnamon sugar on it. It's addicting. It's unbelievable. The real question, Barry, if the toaster has the amount of toast you want to put on your piece of bread, right? How toasty you want it, how like dark you want your toast.
Wait,
are you following me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, how are you confused by this? Like, what? I was so confused.
Well, you said how many toast do you want your
how much toasting you want on your piece of bread? That's that's how it is.
Well, I was thinking like because toast is like a noun, right? Like it's like a noun.
It could also
and
be a verb. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, how many toasts do I want my toast? Like, is he asking how many pieces of bread I want?
And the answer is a lot. How toasted? Okay, let's go. A 1 is barely. You can't. No color change. It's just a little bit firmer. A 10 is you have to like when you scrape it with a knife.
No one's doing 10.
No one's doing 10. But 10 is like, I would argue, inedible. I
don't even know why a toaster goes that high.
Yeah, no, you don't need it to go that high. That's for sure. Yeah. What is the ideal amount of toasting on your bread?
So I am a light toaster. And ours goes from 1 to 8, and I would say I'm like 4.5. Like you can twist the knob and you can like go between like the 3 and 4, obviously.
Right.
Or 4 and 5. So I would say I'm about a 4.5. But it depends on the kind of toast that I'm having. I think for guac toast, I like it a little bit more toasted so it can hold up the weight of the like guacamole, avocado, whatever you want to call it, on top. Because that's pretty heavy. Because I throw a lot on there, so I need a pretty heavy or a pretty stiff piece of bread.
Right. Structural integrity.
Exactly. For the cinnamon sugar, it's about a 2, maybe a 3. Definitely a bit close on those. And for the peanut butter one, I can go honestly anywhere. Just depends on my mood that day. If I want my toast to be a little harder or a little softer, anywhere between like a 2 and like a 4.5 for the peanut butter.
Interesting. I actually prefer my bread for peanut butter sandwiches untoasted. I want it to be a little chewy.
And respectable.
Because I get my crunch from the peanuts. I feel like a proud dad listening to you talk about the amount of structural integrity you need.
I really did give it my all just then, by the way.
That was great. And I was right there with you. I thought it was fantastic.
I could see you smiling. I got a delay smile, but I could see you smiling over there.
That made me real happy. Yeah, I prefer mine because my toaster goes 0 to 10. I'm usually rocking like 5.5. Even for the butter, and cinnamon sugar. I want it to be very firm. And I definitely want some like good amount of golden brown color on there. So that's, but I obviously would rather undercook it than overcook it because someone in chat said, Richter says 8. They put it on 8. You want a little bit of black on it for flavor, but not too much.
No.
Wrong.
No. Wrong. That's a terrible.
Do you think this is
sorry?
Do you think it's good? But, does it make a good show for us to tell the people who are interacting with us, no, you're wrong? Is that like good? Is that what makes people come back for more?
Yeah, I think that's like half of our bit is you're very strongly opinionated about a lot of things, and I'm not very opinionated. But when I do call out someone, or we both agree that someone's wrong, that we're right.
We're gonna let you know. Yeah, we're gonna let you know.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
That's a terrible take, by the way. That is a terrible take. Good lord, you should not.
The only possible way, Richter, for you to redeem yourself is if you saved money on your wireless bill by going to mintmobile.com/backliners. That's your only saving grace from here, Richter. I'm sorry, we gotta call it as we see it. That's the way it goes. All right, thanks for listening to the podcast, everybody. Big show. Hope you enjoyed. Hope that you guys have some fun when 9.5 launches tomorrow, or it's out if you're listening to it after right now, pretty much, or tonight.
Okay, no, pause.
Yeah.
Okay, I have tried over toasted bread, my guy, and it's terrible.
Barry, did we switch? Did we switch today? You're taking the bait from a Twitch chatter. That's my thing. I'm the one who stopped me from closing the show to attack a chatter, and I respect the hell out of it. To be clear,
he's defending over toasted bread, my guy. That literally go lick a grill, my guy. If you want the flavor, go lick a grill. Go outside and lick some charcoal. Like, bro, are you serious? That's such a bad opinion, dude. You cannot seriously. Okay, close the show. You do the bye. You do the bye.
We did switch, right? We did switch. That's the way it goes. Give us a rating. mintmobile.com/backliners is our sponsor for this episode. So again, the best way to support the show is by supporting our sponsors. Thanks to Mint Mobile. We'll see you next week as we talk about the first week of Masters and how fun that's gonna be. It's gonna be a good time. So Barry, aka Aggro, for this show, because we switched bodies apparently, you know what to do. Bye.
It was like Goofy.
I know. It was a caricature bye. It was like
Mickey Mouse or Goofy.
I was it was intentionally over the top. It was a parody.
Did you eat some burnt toast?
Some burnt toast. No, I'd be coughing up a lung if I ate some burnt toast. I need some water. Stat.
Disgusting, man. Disgusting.